Let me in! Okay, so if you guys are wondering why am I able to access the new patch, the answer is because I'm currently on the testing server. And if you want to have access to the testing server, you can do so. Feel free to follow the guide that I've put down in the descriptions below, and that should give you an idea of how to access it. But do take note that everything that I am doing here, I am taking the risk for it, right? I do not recommend you to do the same, but if you really want to have an idea of what the new content before the rest, then this is the way that you can do so. So while we're waiting for this timer to go down to 0, there are two things that I want to cover for this video, right? Okay, so the first is going to be looking through all the new Espers again. And the second, which is going to be the later part of the video, is just to calculate how many SSMs we are going to get like on a monthly basis, or is it even possible to make purchases for SSM, right? And obviously I'm talking about Nexus Crystal purchases, not like just in-game pack purchases. Okay, we are in. Let's take a look at anything new, right? Anything new here? We have a bunch of packs. So as you can see, you can buy, I think this should be 30 summons for $100 US. Okay, this is in Sing dollars. This is my local currency. And let's see what I have in the mailbox. We have 500, which is 10 summons. We are gonna go ahead and drop that as well. And here you have it, right? So this is the new skin that you can obtain by buying the Radiant Pass, which is the most expensive version of it. I wouldn't really recommend it unless you're going crazy for the skin. I mean, I generally just purchase the Sapphire End Pass and that's about it. So what's this? Espers Assemble. Okay, so this is a paid purchase that apparently gives you 8 gold records. I'm not sure why they are trying to give you gold records when SSM is probably the way to go right now, right? Who cares about gold records anymore? Okay, and here you have it. There is also the Esper Rewind. You have 2 attempts. And yeah, there is this as well, which is the more gold records you use, the more SSMs you're gonna get. This is exactly how it looks like. Okay, so let's start off by doing some summons. And you're probably gonna get cucked over here, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, so there you go. This is a Super Census banner. And we have the typical gold banner as well. I mean, the gold record banner with no additional PT on the new Esper, right? Okay, let's start with Super Census. Kind of looks the same, nothing different. We got Nicole. Okay, pretty sick. Okay, but yeah, so that's about it. Let's move on to the rest of the content for the day. So we're going to start off by taking a look at the new Espers again. I'm going to briefly just go through whatever that needs to be talked about. So let's go to Esper Gallery. And we're going to start off with Gaius over here. So I'm very curious to see his multipliers, and that's about it. Okay, so he has 120% on his first skill. But the thing is, if you convert him, right, if you switch him up a little bit, someone actually reminded me that he actually attacks all enemies on his first skill now, which is pretty sick, right? You steal a buff from every single enemy. That's insane. That's really good. Really, really good. Now moving on to the second skill here. So this is a 60% multiplier, which is, yeah, really low, right? And damage against the same enemy is reduced by 25% each time. And you dispels all buff. This is like a Raven, right? And inflicts buff blocker for 2 turns. So this is pretty sick. Let's see what the evolved form looks like. So it goes up to 150%. Okay, so definitely he becomes a little bit more offensive when he does the transformation, right? So basically when Hannah dies, he becomes a lot stronger. He goes from a support to a DPS Esper instantly, right? But that's about it. He does not have the dispelling effect anymore. And then now finally, let's take a look at Thunderstorm. The cooldown is really short, but I don't really think this matters because I'm pretty sure you can Thunderstorm into your second skill, and the next turn that you take, you will then be able to Thunderstorm backwards and all that. I'm pretty sure he's a lot more flexible than needing this cooldown over here. Okay, so enters God King mode, gains 1 turn, gains a shield for 2 turns, shield strength equals to 300% of attack. This is actually pretty high. And here there is a passive effect to his third skill. So this is the part that I was a little bit confused. So in his normal mode, increases accuracy by 100%. What? He does not need accuracy at all. Dealing damage inflicts sear on the target for 1 turn. So essentially his second skill, this has 100% accuracy. Not that it matters, he only needs 80%. But you will then dispel all buffs, inflicts buff blocker, and then you inflict sear as well. This is so good. This is so good to the point where I think it's a little bit broken. Now, God King, this is the buff that he gets when he transforms, which is King of Gods. It changes all ability effects, increases crit rate by 100%. Oh my god, this is huge, dude. He's essentially not only a better version of Zora, he's a better version of Lin Xiao at the same... Okay, maybe not for the defense break that Lin Xiao has, but the fact that he gains 100% crit rate, and he gains Seer debuff as well, and he's a Mega Stripper at the same time, this is really broken. I can see why they want to put such a huge PT counter on him, because he would be extremely broken and PvP would die otherwise. Now let's take a look at his final form on his third skill. This is God King Thunderstorm. So everything is pretty much the same, just that shield strength equals to 120% attack. It's less than before. In God King mode, increases crit rate by 100%, blah blah blah, okay. Extra damage deals 8% of the target's max HP up to 50% of his own attack. Okay, I'm pretty sure that this damage can scale according to crit damage, similar to Steward and Charmers for example. And finally, his Captain ability increases attack in 0.1 by 40%. Insane. Very extremely top tier Esper over here. Oh, and before I forget, here are the stats of Gaius. So at max level, he has 1224 attack, which is not bad, and the rest of his stats are pretty okay, pretty decent. Definitely top tier. I'm not even hyping shit up. This is really good. Now, Li Guang. Okay, so she's gonna be excellent in like Fafnir, in PvP, pretty much a lot of places as well because of what she's gonna be useful for. But I think what you guys are interested to know is how many hits she does, right? So she attacks twice on her first skill, and each hit gives her 15% AP. Her normal attack gives her 30% AP just like that. Now, second skill hits twice. Each hit deals 90% attack damage. Each speed grants extra attack damage equal to 0.16% of attack. How does this compare to Sender again? So Sender is twice as effective as her. So Sender scales by about twice as much as she does, which I think is still fine because Sender does a tremendous amount of damage. So this is still okay. Now each hit steals 1 buff from the enemy upon successful stealing, extends own buffs by 1 turn, and trigger once per turn, so you can only increase your buff duration by 1. Now this is her third skill, Dazzling Sunfire, increases all allies AP by only 15%. Okay, this is very interesting. This 15% is very small. It's, in my opinion, not good enough. I feel like 25% is the borderline requirement for most AP pushing Espers. I think 15% is really low. Even Clara's 20% is extremely low in my opinion. Now, attacks one enemy 3 times, each hit deals 60% attack damage. Each speed grants blah blah. Okay, so this scales more like Sender. So this skill is gonna hit really hard with a small increment to your team's AP, which is pretty decent, and a captain ability that no one really needs. And here are her max stats, which is not a lot of oh wow, she has really low attack. This is borderline support attack basically. So I'm very sure that she's probably not going to be able to deal a lot of damage, but she does have a very good base speed of 106. I'm very curious to know whether does she have 10 speed on her Ascension. If she does, she will be the fastest Esper in the game, on par with Gabriel and Unas at least. Okay, so let's end off with Nick. He's going to be the free Esper. Stone Fist attacks one enemy, deals 120% attack damage, 60% chance of inflicting attack down for 2 turns. No one cares. Landslide attacks one enemy twice, each hit deals 120% attack damage, 60% chance of extending all ability cooldowns of the target by 1 turn. Upon successful extending, reduces all of his ability cooldowns by 1 turn. This is pretty good. But the thing is, if it hits twice, does this effect trigger twice as well? That means you extend all ability cooldowns by 2 turns, and you also reduce all of your ability cooldowns by 1 turn. Because here they do not actually specify a limit whether it caps off at 1 or not, right? So this is a little bit interesting to test out. But then again, it's only just a 60% chance of it happening, right? And here is his Skyfall. So attacks all enemies, deals 120% attack damage, dispels enemy shield, silences them for 2 turns, and each enemy silence increases his AP by 10%. So essentially, turn 1, he's going to silence everyone on the enemy's lineup, right? And also removes the shield, which is what most people will be running with Adamantine Relics. And then with a 50% AP push, he would be able to use his Landslide again a little bit more effectively. But other than that, I think he is really good with Ocean Waves. I can see him being very powerful with Ocean Waves because he uses his third skill here, then he goes on to his second skill, which reduces his cooldowns by 1 turn. And then if he procs Ocean Waves and all that, you are going to be throwing a lot of your second and third skills very effectively. And finally, his captain ability is allies defense by 24%. So these are the new Espers. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys are also very curious to know how often can we obtain SSM? So let's find out. So they have added SSM to the M pass as well. So there is 50 SSM at level 20, there is 50 SSM at level 30, and there is 50 SSM at level 50, and that's about it. So you get 3 SSMs from the M pass as long as you're a paid player. Now let's take a look at the shop. So this is the gold shop here where we can supposedly make purchases, I think. I'm not actually sure. Friend shop, they've actually removed the extra piece that you use for the guild help and converted it into stamina instead. And you can buy 1 SSM over at the tournament shop once a week. And then now moving on to the cube shop, we have another 2 copies of it. And finally, club shop, join the club first. Okay, we can get another 2 copies of the SSM here. And yeah, that's about it. So I'm just going to go here and focus more on the free-to-play perspective, which is once a week here. And this is supposedly once a week as well because this resets every 14 days. And here we have twice a week. So that's a total of 4 a week, or in a month, that would be 16. Now the thing is, can we actually buy it with Nexus Crystals? Let's find out. Oh, I don't think we can do it, right? We can't buy it with Nexus Crystals, so that's very unfortunate, right? Let's check the disassemble. Oh, I can't even check the disassemble because I'm not account level 40. What about missions? Do we get anything related to it? We do not get anything related to it in the missions. Okay, what about the new event over here? Wow, it's in Chinese. What? Okay, missions, do you pay out anything? Daily rewards of 40 stamina, that's okay. It seems like there is nothing over here. what about the shop, right? Let's take a look at the shop. Oh, you can buy another 2 copies here. And you can buy another 3 more copies in the Thunder Essence shop, which is like part 2 of the event. So that's pretty cool. Let's have a brief look at what this is all about, right? The new event here. And there you go. Wow, you can, what's happening here? Oh, you can walk. Okay, that's pretty cool. You're walking around like that. So it's basically like AFK Arena in terms of like the exploration. And by clearing the event itself, you're going to get copies of Power of Thunder, which levels up the Thunder Matrix for greater ability boost effects. And we are also going to get a Divine Essence, which is used in the event shop. So let's take a look at what this depot is all about. So this is the Divine Essence depot. This resource depot can store up to 24 hours of production. Basically, this generates more of these resources, right? And this is meant for the shop, and I believe this is also meant for the shop because this is a Thunder Essence depot. And there is also a Gold depot and a Nexus depot as well. Alright, so I think that's about it. I'm just going to end the video off of here because I really cannot find any other locations where I can buy more SSMs. And from where it's standing right now, it seems like we can only get 4 SSMs a week, which is 16 SSMs per month. So essentially, in order for you to PT Gaius, well, in the future, right, or whichever banner Esper, you will need 10 months. 10 whole months worth of saving up just to get your banner Esper.